What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Fact Show. We're going to get right into it. Today, if you had a chance, you saw President Trump out on the stump near the White House. I think it was a Rose Garden, talking about his tariff deal. And if you've ever heard me speak before on how Americans don't know about their history, therefore they're doomed to repeat it, please listen to me now. You guys are doomed to repeat the same shit you did with the Great Depression. That's why I titled this particular show what I titled it. Because, the tariffs, Trump tariffs, are on target to make America depressed again. The Great Depression is the exact same way that Donald Trump is destroying this country when it comes to economics. You got to think about what he's doing. How many of you guys really know about the Great Depression? How many of you actually know what happened? Right? Well, we're going to go over some of those things about what happened. We're also going to go over some of the things that he said in his speech that are not factual. Then some of them are somewhat factual. It's something that I discovered today that Trump does that allows him to be telling the truth to one person and a lie to us. Right? That's something I figured out today. Because I've been sitting there thinking, like, how in the world these people actually think this dude is telling the truth at all? But the reality is, there are some things he's telling the truth about. But it's not for us. Not for you and me. Not at all. Okay. One of the things he talked about is that we're going to talk about, he said something about the milk prices, 300% tariffs from Canada. He tries to make Americans feel like they're being taken by Canada. He didn't tell you that we actually export more to Canada, which means we make more money out of our deal with Canada than Canada makes off of us. Now, see, Canada has little to no tariffs on milk up until it starts reaching into their reserve situation where they won't be able to provide for their own people. When it gets to that level, that's when they charge 300%. America does this throughout the world, but they hide shit under Trump so that you don't know fully what they're doing. You just think that, oh, that's terrible. America first. We got to buy America. And it's like, we're already doing that. America hasn't been taken. America has made these deals. We've been at the table. It ain't like somebody else decided to make these deals for us. We've made these deals. We've been at the table, not just sitting there, passively. We've been in control of most of these deals, if not all of them. With Canada and Mexico, for sure. If anybody gets edged out of these deals, it's Mexico and Canada. So how is it that we're the ones getting taken? It's not true. But they'll tell you this so that you can go look up and say, does Canada charge 300% tariffs? Oh, and he's right. They do. But then he knows you're not going to think deeper than that. You're not going to think deeper than that. The average person, he believes, is stupid enough not to look deeper. The idea that Canada charges 300% is only when their actual reserves are low. For the very beginning of it all, the milk, we have little to no tariffs at all. But it's only smart when your country needs a certain product and you're getting to that whatever level of use set for your country. Once we got so many less gallons, we get to this level, anybody that buys from us is going to have to pay more because we need it for our people. See how that's fair? Because we do the same thing. But see, Donald Trump and his people give you the one-sided story and don't want you to look any deeper than that. I told you there was something about Donald Trump that was kind of make me wonder, like, why are these people believing anything he says at this point? He's still been lying for like a decade. But most of us look at things from a consumer perspective. A consumer perspective. We don't look at it as a wholesaler. You don't look at it as the middle person at all. You look at it from the consumer side. Let me give you an understanding of how Donald Trump lies to you and me, but he tells the truth for those who would seek just the surface, or those who are rich and who are wholesalers. But it seems like he's telling the truth to everybody, or to us, a lie to everybody. Let's deal with the egg prices. Today, on the lawn, I think it's a Rose Garden lawn, he said, just passingly, that the egg prices are down. They're not. My girlfriend just bought eggs recently, and they were high. I'm in California. I checked. They are higher and have gone higher since January when he got into office. So how are they low? Well, see, Donald Trump is telling the truth on that one. But you and I don't see it. You see, when Donald Trump came in, all of those things that were happening, the bird flu and all the stuff like that, for the wholesaler, the eggs went up to like $5.90 on average, $5.90. So we saw a minimum of a $7, a dozen of eggs of $7. And California was much higher than that. But since then, in March, that stuff started to dissipate. So egg prices for the wholesaler, not you and me, for the wholesaler has gone down on average from $5.90, almost $3 lower. They're saving like $2.90 now. So they don't have to charge us the high egg price. They can come down. But they haven't, because they keep on gouging you. Think about it logically here. Today, this man talking about putting 25% tariffs on vehicles not made in America, made outside America. It's like every car has parts made outside of America. I don't think if there is one, it may be one car, but I doubt it, that's made in America. All right? So if you're talking about outside of America, that's 25% tariffs on everything. Now, if it was going one way, meaning the tariffs go up, they're talking about car prices could go up by the end of the week. It takes about a week for them to be able to throw $10,000 on a product or $5,000 more on a product and just start gouging and start having you pay more in a week's time. It has been well over a week since the egg prices have went down, and you haven't seen a decrease in egg prices at your store. Takes them a week when they find out that it's going to be put on. When things happen, you automatically see it. But when they start saving money, they keep gouging you. So when Donald Trump said egg prices have went down, he's talking about for the wholesaler. They have went down. For you and I, it has not. They've been gouging us, and will continue to do it until we become aware that they're doing it. Till we start to say, wait a minute, egg prices are down. Why the hell are we still charging so much on the eggs now? You should be able to bring that down. Oh, it takes us a long time to bring it down. No, it doesn't. It's just greed and evil. They keep on just putting a stranglehold on the American citizen until we become aware. And then they say, oh yeah, we're going to give y'all guys a break. We can do it now. You've been able to do it for weeks. When all that stuff happened with Target, I think it was Walmart, a few other places was saying, oh, we're going to give you guys a break. When Kamala Harris was running for president, she was saying, these price gouging's got to stop. You didn't hear that from Donald Trump. When stuff started to get low, when America started producing more gas and oil and stuff like that, and becoming the number one exporter, our gas went down because we started producing our own. They were literally trying to make us. He was forcing the prices down by saying, "Then forget you, Exxon and all those other people. We'll produce oil here. We just won't get it from other countries. We'll get it from ourselves." And then they had to force them to bring their prices down by saying, "We're gonna keep making our oil for us, and we just gonna." Then they said, "Okay." They're forcing us to go down. That's the only way they'll go down. If a competitor says, "You know what? Let's give them some relaxation on this." So if a Target went first, then the rest of them start to follow because they start to look horrible. But for the longest time, they both, all of them, are robbing you until you become aware, enough people become aware that the prices for wholesalers dropped drastically. But you haven't seen it yet. Donald Trump mentioned it today. Egg prices are down. Ain't nobody felt that but the wholesaler. They've been making profit over us. Hey, Rude, how you doing? Hey, Alice. See you saved with Antoine. I got you. So those are the things that I realized today, is that Donald Trump tells the truth sometimes to his billionaire friends, but he exposed the truth to us, and we were like, this dude lying, until I had to go look it up and see. I'm like, wait a minute, if egg prices went down, and it's like, yeah, for the wholesaler, almost $3 more. I mean, $3 less for them to buy it, but they're charging us as if it still cost them $5.90. It's insane, y'all. But that's how this country works. We have to figure out ways to tap into our farmers so that we can bypass these billionaires. American citizens need to start tapping into the farmers in our communities and buying directly from them and saying, fuck all these billionaires. We can buy it from them. Fuck going to the store, fuck Ralph's, fuck Kroger's, fuck all y'all. If y'all gonna fuck around and make us pay more because it goes through your channels, it's about time the American people make deals with our own farmers. And therefore we buy directly from them and say, fuck all y'all, because you guys are pathetic. I hope some of you owners see this shit. You are pathetic. The American people, if there was a war right now, you'd be wanting us to fight for your old ass. I think the American people should put y'all ass on the front line if we ever have a war. No sitting at home chilling. I don't care how old you are. Pick up your cane, take your fat ass out there and fight first. Because you enjoy the spoils of this country, but you put everybody else through hell. There's no reason right now these companies should not be lowering the egg prices. And everything else that has gone down. This greed is out of control. So that's how I found out that today at Canada, we had a great deal with Canada. We do more trade with Canada on certain products. This man put a tariff all across the board, not realizing that there are some products that we don't export because we don't make it. So we're going to have to pay taxes on everything that comes over here. We don't make enough bananas. If you love a banana, this shit going to go up like crazy. We don't make a lot of the products in the food that we pull in, that we eat. This country can't survive on just what we have. Every country has to rely on other people's resources. He brought out some chart to show you what other countries charge us, not letting you know that there are more than those charges that he sees like America's doing that we put on other people. Other countries. We're the ones who come up with these deals. How are you going to tell me that we make our trade deals? We've always been at the forefront of making these decisions. America's number one. That's what we've been saying forever. We make these deals with these countries to our benefit. He's trying to sell you that we were suckered when we made the deal. Then, sir, Trump, You made that last deal. The USMCA, yeah, you made that deal. So you telling me you suckered yourself, which you said it was the greatest deal you ever done. And now you're trying to make another great deal? Excuse me. You suck at deals. If that deal is bad, we're expecting you to make a better one than the one you made in your last presidency. This shit just doesn't make sense, y'all. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't think it should make sense to anybody. But there are people always trying their best to gaslight us and think like, oh, we just too stupid to recognize what you're doing. It's the opposite way around. We see what you're doing. We see exactly what you're doing. And I don't know if you heard today that many of these stock people, people who know about the economy, economists and so forth that they've interviewed and talked to, they have brought up something that you may not have heard of called the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. It's an act of 1930. The original, the name of it originally, formally rather, is the United States Tariff Act of 1930. But it came from two Republicans, a senator by the name of Reed Smoot of Utah, and the other one was Representative Willis Hawley of Oregon. Those two, under the president, who's also a Republican, who signed it on June 17th, 1930, Herbert Hoover. That's who signed it. So three Republicans created this particular act, which is very similar to what Donald Trump did. Very similar. And guess what? That act did not cause the Great Depression. It exacerbated. It made it worse. So on a weak economy, you throw on something like this. The idea of throwing all these tariffs on was to make other countries capitulate to you. But what these other countries did was say, fuck off. We about to handle this on our own. So then we didn't have the power that we thought we had. And therefore, we end up getting worse and worse and worse, to the tune of we had unemployment somewhere around 25%. How do you try and repeat history, going back to a time in history where everything was fucked up for everybody? Even the rich was having problems. Why would you want to revisit that time? That's not when America was great again, from what it appears. You're trying to take America back to depression? It makes no sense that you would try the exact same bill. It's like these people have one playbook and they keep playing it and they keep hoping that it's going to win. And every time they do it, they crap out. They are addicted to being rich at everybody else's expense. And they have no problems gambling with your lives just so that they can get richer. Sooner or later, they believe this ideology is going to work, going to fail till they succeed, using your lives as the expense. I told you guys many a times about NAFTA, 1994, signed by President Clinton, originated by President George Walker Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. I've told you guys about this, and maybe some people may be new in here, but we're going to go over some of these things that happened back then. You heard me say, I think it was yesterday, that these Republicans love their terms. See, that's how I'm talking about the leadership. They teach them how to think through phrases. Drill, baby, drill. They'll scream that even though we're already drilling, because they're attached to that. They think it makes us feel a certain way, so they'll say it as if they got us. This is how slow they are. They don't even recognize the Democrat did better than them at drilling. So drill, baby, drill is like, what, an aspiration, a hope, a dream for you? Because it's an actuality, a reality for us. We actually said we're going to do it, and we did it. You guys keep talking about it and never accomplishing it. So even when you're trying to own us, you make yourselves look stupid. because you come up with the same argument, but you never have any teeth to it. You never accomplish the goal. And the point for Republicans is never to accomplish the goal. The leaders are always suckering their own people. Their thing is to make as much money as possible, promise the world, and deliver absolutely nothing but slogans. I'm going to give you an understanding of how this stuff happened. Like when NAFTA came out, NAFTA was not really meant to be what people thought it was, right? They thought because these people were promising them the world, right? Giving them slogans, they thought that that was going to make their lives better. It reminded me of today when they had a union member. He came up with a little orange jacket on, you know what I'm saying? Came up there trying to tell the world, like, oh, that's why we got this great president right here. I thought Reagan was great, but this dude behind me, I thought Reagan was great. Reagan was a piece of shit, and this dude back here is the whole damn pile of shit. And this dude out here screaming, yeah, you gonna do it? Bring back jobs? I'm like, Jesus Christ. These people have no idea what these rich people are doing to them. They got them out in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, actually begging to be fucked over. Begging for it. Never asking the fact that when was the last time these rich people ever give a fuck about me? If I had to build something for this man, would he pay me? No. No. These people aren't even buying anything. They ain't getting nothing out of it. Feelings. Feelings is all they're getting out of this. 100%. During NAFTA, they had a bunch of slogans that they sold to people. So that they can get them to believe that life was going to get better for them. The plan was never for life to get better for you, ladies and gentlemen. The plan was them to fuck over your lives. And I'm not saying that because I'm just wanting to say it. I'm saying it because I've looked at history. I understand what happened. All you have to do is go back and look at when NAFTA was first created. There were terms that they were telling the people, slogans. Like I tell you, these fools feed you slogans so that you repeat those because the actual facts behind them don't match. Get you to feel good about something. And I'm going to give you some of them. One of the slogans they told people, I don't know if you heard this, even Bill Clinton was speaking this one. Said, I remember when I was younger too. I remember when I was in college in that era when he said this. He said, a rising tide lifts all boats. It's like, okay. So Bill Clinton used this line a lot. He was doing it to convince Americans that economic growth abroad would somehow lift the working class. So they was trying to sell to Americans that, hey, if we give them these jobs and they start working and everything like that, and we give them opportunity to lift their economy, then we're going to lift because they got to use us to lift them. So we're out there helping them, and we're all going to rise. And we're going to be at the top of it because we're the one who created it. They knew that shit was bullshit the moment they spoke it. Ain't nobody that's stupid to believe that. But Americans bought that shit. We bought it hook, line, and sinker. Voted for it and everything. They sold it to us like it was the biggest thing. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, we can help them out there. They dealt with our emotions of helping people. To lift them will lift us. Like the phrase that I use, you help the least of us, it helps the most of us. Like if you help the poor move to the middle class, we all benefit. And that's what it sounded like. But what they were saying was not true. They knew from jump that they were not going to do what they said they were telling you they were going to do. They were doing this for the billionaires. They weren't doing this for the regular folk. Another phrase that they said, free trade equals more jobs. They promised that NAFTA would create hundreds of thousands of jobs. That was their promise to you, right? But the reality, right? Over 700,000 U.S. manufacturing jobs were lost by 2010, from 1994 to 2010, and especially in the Rust Belt. So we're looking at, these people told you that jobs were going to increase, but they did not. Like I told you, Senator Bernie Sanders and some union members were screaming at the top of their lungs, this is going to destroy the middle class, it's going to destroy the middle class. And the rich people had more money to promote these slogans. Reagan did it too, slogans. And these fools fell for it. Just the slogan itself, not understanding what it really meant. They did not ever mean to help you. You know what they meant to do, and you've learned it since, was they meant to send your jobs overseas because they wanted to make more profit. You were charging $25 an hour and getting a nice life, being able to have a house and a wife, a car, 2 dogs, a cat, and whatever the hell you like, and living life nice. They were like, you know what? Too many of them like having nice lives. We got to make their life hard on them. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's just send these jobs over here and get rid of the union and make some more money. So they went on a union busting tour and had unions backing it up. You'd be like, how the hell did they get unions to give up union jobs? And here we were, idiots for the dollar. Some of them had to sell their own people out, because there's no way you can look at that and be like, on the surface, that don't even sound right. We got hundreds of thousands of jobs here that are living wage jobs, and you're going to send the factory overseas and leave us back here and let them have the, what? This don't make no sense. Nobody raised that red flag. Well, there was a few, but they didn't have enough money to get to the whole world like the billionaires did. They knew they were fucking you over. That's why they spent so much money on a campaign to lie the hell to you. To hell and back. I gave you 2 phrases. Free trade equals more jobs. Total lie. They knew it when they spat it out. A rising tide lifts all boats. It was fictional. It wasn't something they really cared about. They said, these are phrases they said now, we'll export products, not jobs. One of the cruelest lies, they claimed NAFTA would open new markets for American goods. Did not. Instead, what happened was the corporations exported their factories, not their products. So they had the factory over there making, bring it over to their company here and sold it from here. So your job was gone, but the product was still here. They knew they was going to do that, but they lied to the people and said, no, that ain't what's happening. It was all a power grab. It was not for the people ever. Not 1 minute while they was pitching that shit to you did they ever think about you. They were thinking about robbing you blind. They wanted to make more profit. And the way to do it was to take your jobs away and make you fight. To make you capitulate to them, to make you subservient to them, that you needed a job from them and they didn't have any. Now you got to work your way back up, which many people did. Some people unalived themselves. Did they care? Fuck no. Think about it. Today or the other day, was it today or earlier today? I seen it on the news. There's a Republican that was getting on the elevator. And these people who had lost their jobs from, I think, HHS and a few other places, and he's saying, I got this problem, I got this, I need this, and they let us go unfairly. What you going to do about it, this representative? He said, you probably deserved it. Dude said, why? He said, because you seem like a clown. This Republican called a regular citizen a clown. I'm like, you don't care about the constituents? Then who the fuck do you care about if you don't care about the constituent? Obviously his own pocketbook, because he's not beholden to the American citizen. He's beholden to these billionaires. And he had no problem talking to a citizen as if he knew them, like they did something wrong. They came to you for help. I guarantee you this man, somewhere on his page, somewhere, he has got some Bible verse on his page, talking about he believes in Jesus Christ, yet treats a person asking you for help, that's seeking aid, saying you deserved what these people did to you. For what? All I did is do my job. How is that? I didn't get fired because I wasn't great at my job. I got fired because you guys are trying to get a tax cut, tax break. The fuck is up with that, right? But that's the reality. That's the reality of what they did. You'll also look and see that they said a phrase that said, this will make America more competitive. That's what they said. This will make America more competitive. Now, that's another lie. It sounds bold, right? We're going to be more competitive. But what it really meant was competing with countries that pay workers $1 an hour with no unions, no rights, and no benefits. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what they were doing was breaking the unions. You were getting paid a living wage job. They were sending your jobs over there for pennies on the dollar. Or you was making $20 an hour here, $25 an hour here back in the 80s or the 90s, early 2000s, you was making $35 at the factory. No, they sent it over there and they had to only pay $1 an hour. We're going to make it competitive. Sound good, didn't it? We're going to make it competitive. Help out these other countries and they be beholden to us. They buy from us because we help them out. Just let's give them these jobs. It's just a few. You don't give them a few jobs. It's okay. And the good heart of Americans was like, it sounds good. And these asshole billionaires, the entire time, was like, we're about to rob them blind. They don't even see it coming. And Americans got stuck. And you know what to mean. Yeah. More like fucked is what they got. With a smile on your face. Because you thought it was going to be something that you were going to do something great for help other people. You were going to get better jobs. They were going to give you better opportunities. And you start thinking like, why would these rich people give a damn about giving us better opportunities? They're trying to make more money. Now you ask, if they did this in history with NAFTA, and they're trying to rewrite NAFTA again because they already rewrote NAFTA and made it USMCA, which was Trump's thing. Now he's rewriting it again. You think they're doing it for you? They have never created these things for you. So why in the hell would you think they're doing it for you now? I mean, how dumb do we have to be to keep thinking that somebody who keeps on telling you they're going to feed you, but instead when you get in, they shoot you. And you keep on saying, oh, I got a couple holes in me. This time it's going to be right. No, this time it's just going to be bad, if not worse. Learn from your mistake and don't make it again. Quit making the same mistakes. Putting your faith in billionaires is like putting your faith in a poisonous snake. You know that Trump little poem he reads about trying to kiss a snake and it kills you. You say, you know it was poisonous. He's been telling y'all the whole time he's a poisonous snake and you keep on trying to kiss this damn thing. Billionaires like this are poisonous. There's no reason you should be sitting there acting like, oh, they're good people. They're not. They're not. You don't see any of them fighting for the people. You don't see any of them stepping up and saying, I'm a billionaire, and this is just not right for the people. I can afford all this stuff, but they can't, man. Chill out. Stop being so greedy. You don't see none of them saying that. Stop price gouging them. You don't see none of them saying that, so why do you ever think they got your back? You got people like me who ain't rich talking about got your back. But these people can actually literally have your back and help your lives change, and they aren't doing it. That should tell you right then and there, they don't care about you. Unless they start speaking up and caring about you, stop thinking that they do. Right? But they said that American workers weren't more competitive at all. They were more disposable. See, now they got a chance to say, oh, you don't want to do it for half the price of what you was doing it before? I know before we moved it over there, we kept some jobs over here, but over there I'm getting it for $1 an hour. You were making $35 an hour here. How about if you do it, if I fire you and rehire you for $20 an hour? Because if not, I can get a high school and a college student to do it. Now college students are moving out on their own, you know what I'm saying? And they need, pay for bills and things like that. What have the Republicans been doing? What have the Republicans been doing lately? They want 14-year-olds and 12-year-olds to be able to start working and be able to work on school nights. What do you think that's going to do? It's going to give them labor from kids that have a life with their parents. So mom and dad's cutting the bills. And therefore these kids can come in and work at slave labor. So that your parents can have like the nice job. They can have the crappy jobs and make these billionaires rich off your child's labor. That's what Republicans are seeking. Can't you just see how evil these people are? That literally want to put children to work so that they can make them rich while firing and getting rid of good paying jobs, union jobs. That's what they did with NAFTA. And then now Donald Trump's putting tariffs on everything to bring every country down to its knees. Supposedly, he thinks they're going to fall. But like I told you, just like the Great Depression around that time when they put out this Smoot-Hawley bill act, where they thought it was going to make these countries have to forcibly, because they put like 20,000 products or something like that, they put high tariffs on. And they thought these countries were going to be forced to buy from them so they can save themselves from this depression that they were undoubtedly about to face or going through to some degree. And yeah, it exacerbated, it made it worse because their bet did not pan out. These countries didn't fold like they thought they would, and then their country just went to shit. But it was a last-ditch effort to try and build something out of what they fucked themselves out of. See, most people don't know exactly how we went into the Great Depression. It was all Republican-led. We had a Republican who wrote this particular bill. It was a Republican who was a president. It was a Republican, Herbert Hoover was the president, and prior to that, the president was also a Republican. Now, I know there's Democrats in office and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they had something to do with it, but I'm talking about led. They always talking about, these blue states. Oh, you know how bad it's run with a blue state, how bad it was all ran by blue, even though they have red in the state. They just said it's terrible the way they led it. Well, if you're going to give the credit to Democrats for cities that they don't, manage well, then you got to give the credit of all this stuff that we went through, the Great Depression, to the Republicans. It wasn't until Franklin Delano Roosevelt came in with the New Deal that allowed us to start to get out of the Depression. You see a pattern here? We go through hell economically with Republicans, and then we get lifted by Democrats. They're the ones who create bills that get us out of the shit that Republicans put us in. It's the same pattern here. Trump put us through some shit. Biden came in and saved us with some bills. They put Trump back in. He's taking us through some shit. And the way they look at it, they want to keep on putting us through shit. They want to put he want to be here a few more years. Why would you want somebody who destroys every time he's had a chance to do something, he ain't did nothing but destroy this country. Destroy our standing. The last time he was president, he got laughed at by leaders all over the world. Laughed at. You can see his little heartbreak. Oh, I didn't expect that. You did expect it. You should have. You're a dipshit. Of course you should have expected it. These people are brighter than you. The dumbest person in that room was a genius compared to this nitwit. That's why they laughed at him. This country can't continue to grow because why? If you look at history, it's because Republicans become president. You need to stop that for a while. How about you put a Democrat as president for the next 20 years and see how far we go? Because trust me, and ain't talking about don't get the Democrat billionaires out of it. Get the Democrat and anybody who's rich out of it. Regular Democrats. the Soros and the Cubans and all that shit. Keep them out of fucking politics. Let them be a regular ass citizen. Let the Democrats run this country for the next 20 years. We'll be out of debt. Simple. Because every time we in it, it was always the Democrats that got us out. The Republicans have put us in hell over and over again. Why? Because all they care about is greed. Not that the billionaires in the Democrat Party. I'm talking about the average person that's in office that is a public servant. Not the billionaires, the average one. Republicans are the worst. All they care about is money. You ain't heard not one of them have compassion for any of these people who are losing shit. Have you seen one Republican that is of MAGA that has come out and said, oh, I feel bad for these people losing their farm. Oh, I feel bad for these people losing their jobs. You see them saying they deserve it. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy. And they always make massive mistakes because their intellect is in the trash. They fill with emotion, and most of it's hate. You won't see these people have empathy until their lives are fucked with. They can't see or feel nobody else's pain but their own. That's it. And it's filled with people like that. It starts at the top. Donald Trump is the head snake in chief. And you got to cut the snake off the head off the snake in order for all this shit to fall. So he has to be gone some way, shape, or form. And people like him have to be cast out. And that's going to take the American people to wake the fuck up and realize that this dude is not good for us. Republican ideology has never been good for us. It has always taken us down the wrong road. It has never led to anything brilliant. They always want to bring out Reagan. Reagan fucked up shit. I don't know why they think he did something great, but I think it's because he followed their ideas to a T, and they made money. Some of these people made money. But for the rest of us, it did not do very well whatsoever. It's just sad. Their morals are in the dumpster. Another slogan they fed to us, American citizens, they said new jobs will replace old ones. This was the carrot. Yes, we'll lose some jobs, they said, but better ones will come. But the replacement jobs were often low-wage jobs, service sector roles, not the union-backed, living wage manufacturing careers that once supported entire families. Remember, I told you the other day, I said, look, I remember a time, I'm 54, I remember a time in which when I was younger, I worked at McDonald's. At McDonald's, the majority of the employees, any of them working behind the counter, any of them working, making the burgers or whatever and fries, any of them, doing the fries and pies, all of them pretty much were 18 or younger. 15 and a half is when we can get a job permit. So 15 to like 18 till you went off to college. They rarely had college students working at these McDonald's, right? You didn't see a grown-up unless they were a manager or supervisor. And then it switched because these rich people decided to send these union jobs overseas. And when they decided to do that, guess what? Now you started to see mom and pops working at McDonald's. And I remember as a kid, I'm like, what the hell are they doing here? And I would ask questions like, you okay? It was like, why are you at McDonald's, bro? It was not a career job when I was younger. None whatsoever. You can go into it. If you ever came in as an adult, when I was working at McDonald's back in the day, you came in as an adult, it's because either you had a idea that you were going to own one. So you had to come in and learn how to run so you can start your own, franchise. To now, you got people working in them that are grown. You can walk in, as in the last, I know in like 2016, 17, 18, around there, and probably still now because I don't really go to a lot of restaurants now, but around that time, you know, it's to 2019. You walk in and be a bunch of grown ass people. Where the young people at? Almost all the waiters was 30, 40, 50 years old. That's a product of these billionaires sending living wage jobs out of the country. Now, think about it for a second. Billionaires don't do shit for us unless there's some money in it for them. So I say follow the money. Why does it seem like Donald Trump wants to bring jobs back here? They would lose money. They ain't making no money off of that. You got to make the product cheap and sell it high. So if it's going to cost high, who all going to buy it? Other countries? They're going to have just as much tariffs, reciprocal tariffs on us. So it's a lose-lose situation coming from a billionaire. Like, how does this shit work? I mean, who's going to buy our product? Who? Everything we got is going to become a high ticket item. I mean, a $20,000 car is now $40,000. That's a high ticket item now for them. Ain't nobody going to be buying that shit. They're going to have to think out all kinds of leasing plans. You know what I'm saying? You have this car and pay it off in 25 years. I mean, they're going to really have to come up with creative leasing plan because nobody's going to go buy a crappy ass car or one car you was going to dog out, going to take it back and forth to work that was normally like 20 grand, now being 50 or 40. You ain't doing that shit. Who going to do that? Not unless that thing, you can get it, put $100 down, pay $75 a month for 35 years. That's the only way you're going to be doing that. And you're going to be like, just every year I get rid of it and throw another one in. You're going to do something to that effect, but you ain't going to buy no $40,000 car that was worth $10,000 or $15,000 2 weeks ago. So that isn't a winning strategy. So you got to think about where are they going to get this money from? Because it's going to help them. They're going to lose money. So it's got to be billionaires thinking something up that we ain't thought up yet. There is something in this that is going to benefit them and hurt us in the long run. Maybe a short time thing for them, but in the long run, it's going to help. And at this particular moment, just my guess is they're going to make us poorer and get it to the point where these are the things that we have to buy. Gas, right? Electricity for our homes, for lights and different things of that nature. For products, you got to have products that have to deal with your health, watches or different things of that nature, or cell phones. All these things are going to go up that you have to have. And that's where they're going to make their money. They're going to probably start to invest in things, reinvest or, put more money into things that we have to have, not, that we want, but things that we necessarily need. And those things are going to go up and try to offset it. Because there is no way that this thing right here is built for them. These people don't want these corporations back. It's going to tear into their profits. That's why they sent them over there to fuck us to begin with. You think they're going to come back here to love on us? No. They figured out another way. I haven't cracked that nut yet, but I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. And that's the thing. They did it last time. They're trying to do it again. So you got to find where they're trying to actually squeeze stuff out of Americans. And like I saw that gentleman on stage, the union guy, talking about, you going to bring jobs back? Bro, those are the same types of things they told us during NAFTA, and Americans lost. The people who won were the technology bros and sisters out there. They're the ones who won big, because that was the industry that we became like number one at least close to number one. And most people had no idea about that type of stuff. As far as like intellectual properties and buying products and software and stuff like that, that became the boom. And what you're starting to see is China and other countries are becoming number one at stuff that we considered ourselves to be number one at. This is also a problem because you got to understand what is the foundation of a country's economy. You see, we went through the Great Depression. Our foundation then was like Ford, GM, Chrysler, the industrialization of everything. That's where we had our biggest boom. Right? Here we got like all the app companies, the Googles, the Apple, technology companies. Those are our like foundation for our economies. Well, a lot of these things are becoming Chinese owned or other country owned. One of the bigger apps now, and not the biggest, is TikTok. It's coming up on it. It's not owned by us. You see how all of these people like Meta, Facebook, buying up everything because, again, cornering the market. If the country relies on them, they never go broke. If you need them as opposed to just want them, they won't go broke. So that's their bet. And therefore, they feel like they can't fail. But American citizens decide that. We stop buying, they can fail. And if they're going to hold us hostage every time, it's about time the American citizens showed them the true power that we have. Not buying from them. Forcing them to give a fuck about us because they don't spend their lives making money off of us. And all this time we thought we just buying from them because we like what they want and they liked us back because they love the people who buy their products. No, they were trying their best to find any way whatsoever that they can fuck over their customer, not work beside their customer, not care about their customer. How can I force you to forever make me rich? They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about their profit. They ain't making this product for you. They making it so that you have to buy them. Why do you think Apple hasn't really changed its product in over 20-something years? Start adding a little something here and there, and it's barely nothing. But then all of a sudden, you got phones that are from Samsung, from different areas, China, Korea. I was like, they changing their shit up. Their stuff is just like light years better than Apple in many perks. And I got Apple, but many perks of theirs. They're surpassed us with technology. So what does that do with our economy? If these other countries start making products way superior than us, the thing that holds our economy crashes. It's like the tech bubble that we had back in the 90s. It's like the Ford, GM, and Chrysler that we had back in the 20s. We have to manage our economy better. But we're not managing it better with Sir Dipshit in office. We're doing the same mistakes that happened in the Great Depression. And we're being led by a Republican with nothing but greed on his mind, heart, and spirit. The same back then. Many people don't know that the idea of like what happened back then was that people were buying these cars and doing things of that nature. The Ford, the Chrysler, the GM, and all the other particular things back then. They were buying that. But what happened a lot with the crash is a lot of people started back then. That's the era in which they started doing like stock trading. They always had stock, but before then, stock was for rich people. It was for them to hold on, to get dividends and have money like for the rest of their life. Most people didn't even get into stocks. So around that era in the 20s and up to 29 and stuff like 1929, I was forget, the American citizen, the average citizen, was out there basically day trading. They called it something else back in those days, but they would get information and they would buy stock like in the morning time. This is regular shit. You'd be like, the way they got it was through TV and radio. So they'd be listening to the radio and news would be saying, oh, the stock of Ford is, whatever is going up today, and they'll buy stock that day, right? And then end up selling it by that evening. And then they would talk about it. I made this on stock. I made this on Ford. I made this on GM. And we were more of a betting society, which we still are, but we were more of a betting society in which we did a lot of, taking our funds and literally investing them and trying to become, wealthy or make a few bucks every day and so forth of that nature. So that was kind of like the boom of trading like stocks, right? So in that vein, the greed became strong, very strong, to the point where people were doing margin. They were investing with margins, and what that means is basically they were taking loans to buy stock and pay back at a certain interest, and the interest ranged anywhere, could be low, could be 12, 13, 15%, whatever it may be. But the greed caught up to them. That's why we had the Great Depression, is because most of these Americans back in that day were buying and selling stock from newspapers, you know what I'm saying? Radios, people talking about stuff. So everybody was just taking risks. There were no charts for them to read. What the stock going? No, they weren't studying the CEO. They heard it on the radio and would go spend their money on it. See, back then they didn't have the SEC. They didn't have a lot of regulations. And you ask yourself, why do Republicans want to get rid of regulations? See, it sounds like you're imprisoned. So you kind of feel like, I don't want to be regulated. I don't want to be regulated. So they get people to think that regulations are bad. But in all honesty, if you look back at the 20s without regulation, it's the reason why this country was going to shit. Because every person who was chasing cash in the capitalism game was robbing the hell out of citizens. They did a lot of the pump and dump. Yeah. So they would get some particular stock or whatever it may be, and oftentimes it wouldn't even be a business. It would just be a name, somebody hype it up. Did you know that this stock is going to go up tomorrow? Really? How'd you know? Insider tip. Back then, no rules, no regulations. Really? You know about that? Yeah, the guy works at Ford. It's going to go up tomorrow. Really? And these people would put money, and it wouldn't necessarily be Ford, but any other company, put in the money in that company, the stock would just shoot up. Now the stock going to shot up. As I'm pumped it up to from it was 30 cents a stock. Now, in about a short time, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even less than that, shit's up to, $12, $13 a stock. It was pennies. Well, the person who spread that bullshit, there was no such company. They made it up. They weren't selling shit. And then they dump it. Sell all the stock that they had, boom, take off with the money and disappear. You wouldn't know what's happening. That's what happens without regulations. Ask yourself why Republicans don't want regulations is because they want to rob you at free will. Why do they want to get rid of places that can actually regulate them and tell them you're not supposed to do that to American citizens? Because they don't care about you. They want to take every dime they can from you and you have no recourse to get it back. You can't sue. You can't do anything. You just should have been smarter. Too good to be true. You should have known that. That's why they're getting rid of the IGs. That's why they're getting rid of all these things that regulate billionaires. Because they want to do it to you again with impunity. And they sell it in a bow that tells you, you don't want to be regulated, do you? I mean, if somebody told you you couldn't go outside, would you like that? Or would you want to stay inside? I want to go outside sometime. Oh, okay. So you don't like regulations? No, I don't. I don't like regulations. No regulations. And then you buy into that shit just because it make you feel good. Like, I don't want to be regulated. I ain't going to prison. What the hell keeping me? And next thing you know, your entire life savings is in that dude's hands because that person got you to get rid of the thing that protected you from that fool. That's what they do to Americans over and over and over again. The question is to you, ladies and gentlemen, why you keep falling for it? Why do you keep falling for it? It's almost as if you deserve it if you don't see it. All you got to do is look in history and you'll notice it. It's right there in your face. They also said something to the effect of, this is the last one I'm going to go on what they would say, slogans they made. They made a slogan that says, it will reduce illegal immigration. Oh, so you got to throw some hatred in there. You had to throw something in there to kind of like get them some fire, like angst. Legal immigration, it's going to end that? gonna make what? It's gonna reduce it? Yeah, NAFTA's gonna stop people from wanting to go over here. Know why? It was a bait and switch. They're like, NAFTA actually devastated the Mexican agriculture. So they was trying to tell you that if we do business with them, we'll make their country better, and their people don't want to come over here because there's so much good going on over there. No, they went over there and destroyed Mexico's agriculture. Destroyed it. Putting millions of small farmers out of work. Forcing more people to migrate north for survival. So they forced immigration to grow. And guess what? That was their plan. They told you we can help out their country. And then, they're going to stay where they are. Your hatred, Americans, toward these illegal immigrants helped them to force more into this country. Why do you think they wanted more immigrants in this country? Because they knew your jobs were going to go over there. We was going to get rid of the union, and that most of y'all don't want to work for cheap. So if we go over there and destroy their shit and force them to come into our country, we can have them for slave labor in America. And fuck Americans, they want too much. They want $10 an hour. I'm talking about 30 cents. I'm going to put this dude to work. That's why you have people like Trump having people who weren't documented, illegal people, not just undocumented, illegal immigrants literally working for them. People who had nothing, had no documentation whatsoever. How do you think they got them? These people had to be smuggled into the country. They were free labor, basically. They didn't even touch the undocumented. Those people were legal. These rich people were bringing basically slaves in this country to work for them. Had no record whatsoever. Then they try to tell you, oh, what? Why they here? I don't understand. I didn't know she didn't have her papers. What? I didn't know that. She was raising my kid and didn't know that. Then they kicked them all out as if they didn't know. They had human pets. These people are demons. Pure evil demons telling you that they want to do right by this country when they're literally trying to fuck you every chance they get. Don't believe me? Go look at the history of it. You even saw Donald Trump had illegal immigrants working for him. And then he tried to act like, oh, I didn't know they were illegal. I didn't know she had no papers. I didn't know not even undocumented. Undocumented can work. They're waiting to get their turn. These people who came over the border hadn't done shit. They were seeking these people out. They're the reason why they came here, because they went to their country and destroyed, took over their farms and created their own shit. These small farmers had to bounce. Tell me if you really was trying to help them, how you wouldn't have just helped these small farmers out so therefore they can do this work for you for cheap. No, they wanted to own that cheap labor, not just pay them. Oh, we're going to build a business over there. We're going to own it, and we're going to make money in this country. And we're going to be the ones paying you 25 cents a day. What the hell are we doing going over there and getting with a farmer and then that farmer charges, nah, we're going to take over your farm and we ain't going to give you a job. So they had to run over here and try to get a job from the very same rich people probably that edged them out of their jobs. These people are devious. Those were the slogans that they said. I gave you 6. Their real agenda, these billionaires with NAFTA, were to cut labor costs by relocating to Mexico, to crush the unions by eliminating their leverage, suppress wages by increasing job insecurity, and increase profits for their shareholders and executives. And they didn't care about the devastation it would leave behind in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Gary, Steele, and rural Mexico. They built a global system for profit and used patriotic language and economic jargon to sedate the very people they were betraying. What happened in the United States, real? They didn't build more factories. They closed. Entire towns went dark. Like I said earlier, suicides and drug addictions rose because they started to have these deindustrialized towns. The wealth gap, that shit exploded while the middle class shrank. Mexico's corn industry collapsed, forcing farmers to seek work elsewhere. Many of those crossed the American border to do it. There's more to immigration than people think. These people are coming here, many of them, because of things that we're doing to their country. They knew NAFTA was going to do that. That was a part of the plan. See, they always got to have some gimmick to piss off Americans. Have you ever realized that all these decades upon decades, right? Centuries even, we've been talking about a border and they haven't been able to solve it? At a certain time in your life, you got to understand the point ain't to solve it. The point is to always have something that's fucked up in this country for Americans so they can tell you they're going to fix it but never fix it. It's always a promise, but they're never delivering. They'll do something, but at the same time, they're doing something else. Like these people are talking about, oh, we're going to get rid of these. They're getting rid of these Venezuelans. The immigration is not going to stop. What are they trying to do? Bring in a bunch of white people from Africa. So we're going to have immigration of millions of Africans coming here, white Africans. And then we're going to have white people come from other countries with $5 million. So just flux. I thought you were tired of immigration. Or you just want white immigration. See, then that's going to cause a problem. That gives politicians and billionaires something to fuck with Americans and say, hey, look, we got to stop them from coming into the country. Elect me and I'll do it. You caused the problem. Why would I give you a chance to fix something you fucked up? You brought it here. The immigrants coming to this country are because of us, not because their country's fucking up. It's us that's causing this shit. This drug cartel stuff, you don't think America's in on that? You got to be crazy. How can you not know tons of this shit is coming into your country? How can you not know that? You have to be stupid not to know that. And they think we stupid. It's just insane, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand it. The things that they did now, Donald Trump's trying to sell you guys alongside billionaires who effed us over to begin with and gave us NAFTA and gave us all this smoke about what NAFTA was when it really wasn't. Now he wants to tell you we got something else, that we're thinking about you. They have never thought about you. If there's billionaires attached to it, it ain't got shit to do with you doing anything better for you. It is all about them. Ask yourself the question, with what they're doing now, how do billionaires benefit bigly? Like he says, big league or bigly. And that's going to give you your answer as to what they're really doing. This selling this shit like I'm helping Americans. No, no, never. It ain't none of that. Putting these people who are right now to it. Most Americans, ladies and gentlemen, do your research. In the 90s, early 90s, in the early 2000s, it was like 80%. They said it's gone down lower. But let's just go with 60%, like I recently heard one of the politicians say. Bernie Sanders, I think it was. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Ask yourself a question. If they cared about you and they tell you that you're going to hurt just a little bit, that literally means 60% of the people in this country, if they don't have like 2 paychecks, they're 2 to 4 paychecks from being homeless. 2 to 4 paychecks for a regular family. If you get paid a week, that's a month away from being homeless. If you get paid twice a month, right? You're 2 months away from not being able to pay your bills. Now, some people will go into their savings and do all that. But if it's like this guy said on stage today, it may take a year or two. How many of you guys got a year or two disposable cash to be going through shit that's going to cost a lot? Increase of everything for the next 2 years. Heaven forbid you get sick with something. like the measles, and have to fight that off, or get sick with anything, that you have to go to a hospital and that drains you, and everything costs so much for 2 years, and hopefully things are going to change. I'm telling you guys, go back and research history. Don't listen to me. Go back and look at history, and you'll see how this has played out before. The American people lost. The billionaires immediately won. While you guys are going through a short-term pain, the billionaires are not. Why? Because they're counting on Americans to continue to buy at a higher rate, which literally means they get more of your money. How do you lose when you're forced to buy from me and I charge higher prices? You go through the pain. They don't. All they got to do is every so often come down to the car dealer where we don't put the tariffs on for 30 days. And you're going to go running to get that car because shit costs so much. And you've been waiting to get a car. The tariffs are off. They don't charge you for the tariffs. And you're like, I got a great deal. Now the country is used to the tariffs. And you're just waiting for a deal to happen. So now they've increased their profits without ever having to do anything other than him having tariffs and you, the American people, footing the bill, and they get richer and richer and richer. They don't feel the pain because it's passed on to you. It's the biggest money and power grab, and that's what these tariffs are. They talk about making all this money. Yeah, off of you. We're going to pull in trillions and trillions of dollars. Yeah, extra cash out of your pocket to get the government so much money, which they think is their money, which they're going to give themselves tax cuts permanently, that your money increased into the government and it goes out to them in large numbers. This is how we get wealthier. They already got more money than any of us combined, and they're still seeking for more. They're still seeking for more. When I go through these things, I get pissed off about what greedy people are doing to us. And I open my eyes to say, look, and my mouth to say to people, beware of what they're doing and try to defeat them at their own game. I mentioned here before, the things that I believe that they're going to do is hold these things, these tariffs, for a while and make money off of it. These businesses are going to bitch and moan like, this is going to cost a lot of money, until Americans step up and continue to buy these products, even though they're higher cost. And then these people are going to, at first, sound like they're gouging you, but then it's like, that's the tariffs, it's not my fault, it's Trump. And these people are going to be like, Trump made me a lot of money during this time when he was president. Oh, he did good by me. He did. He made you hand over fist more money. But the average citizen, homeless, average citizen living on a thread, average citizen is paying to the government and barely getting by. Because at the same time that this shit is happening, they're trying their best to say to you, tariffs are high, things cost so much more. We got to pass it on to the consumer, and less of them are buying. So I know, 40 hours a week, you get your insurance. I'm going to have to get you down to 30, 20 hours a week. I can't give you insurance. You got to buy that yourself. I know you guys are a union, but we can't afford a union. We're going to have to close down and fire you, and then start another business up with a different name and hire non-union people. Not our fault. Our hands are tied. The government's doing it to us. How did they get the government to do it? Oh, I didn't tell you that. Yeah, I paid for the government to do it to you. But I can play like I ain't had nothing to do with it. But I was the main reason they decided to make it up, because my billionaire ass begged them to do this, to say, make me more money. So you take the blame, I put money in your back pocket, and I sit here and act like the saint and have these dumbass people give me money for the product, and I'll tell them, Ain't nothing I can do about it. It's the game that they play on us. And we continue going down that path saying, give me another, rob me again. It's at this point, to be honest, they don't even have to rob us. We walk up to them and hand them the gun filled with bullets and say, ask me for my money. Like, the fuck? Yeah, ask me for my money. Give me your money. Okay, here you go. Give them your gun, your money, and walk away happy. Go look. Go look at history. You'll see it. You'll see it just like I do. I just do the homework and look at things and like, wait a minute, this shit don't make sense. I check the facts and find out Donald Trump lied to y'all about certain things. But I told you what he told you the truth about. The price of eggs did go down. Not for us. For the wholesaler who hasn't passed it on to us yet. So he basically snitched out the wholesaler. Egg prices went down. Everybody else, no, they didn't. Then go look it up. They have went down for the wholesaler. Almost $3. $2.90, I believe. Have you seen a $2 or a 90-cent decrease in your eggs? No. You should. But you have not. Because they rob you until you get pissed off enough. And then they all say, oh, we're just trying to help you out. We're going to lower prices. That ain't helping us out. How about giving us our fucking money back when you didn't have to charge us that much? That would be helping us out. These people are treacherous, y'all. It's treacherous. I can't stand these type of people. I just wish Americans would come together and decide for ourselves that we need to make deals amongst the people who our products that we want to buy and shit like that. We need to make deals with each other, agreements with one another, and let the government do its thing, but not with us. You know what I mean? We just got to start doing something different, because doing the same things, these people have us by the short hairs and they know it. So they continue doing horrible things to the American people because they can divide us amongst the greedy, amongst the needy, and those who care, right? In those particular groups. So we divided in all these segments. And these greedy people are controlling everything. And we're giving them the money to control everything. We're buying their products. We're using their apps. And they don't care shit about us. If the people powered ourselves and invested in products that a regular person created, give them the money to be able to start something that cares about the people, as long as they're like people-centric, they care about the people more than they care about the profit will come because the people are dedicated or loyal to those who want to do right by them. We got to show these billionaires that people who care will make more money than those who are always trying to find a way to fuck you over. I mean, we need something that we can measure. You know how they have restaurants where they say, eat here and, it's an A. You can trust it. We need to do that for businesses that are starting up that are people-centric. They care about the people and know the profit will come as long as you serve the people without malice or greed. Just the fact of, I do for them, they do for me. I create a product that benefits them, they benefit me. I don't have any other outside aspirations other than provide something, a product or service. And my customer does good by me, I do good by them. If we had a way to measure that, then we could be able to say, okay, this business owner gets that A. And this one over here with the F, don't buy shit from them because they don't care about people. They care about profit. And as soon as their profit goes down, that's when they start to feel like, oh, okay, we care about y'all. No, you didn't before. You sure as hell don't do now. You just care about profit, that you'll back up off of it just so that you can get your profit. You'll back up off this hate just so we can give you money. But your ideals haven't changed. You're still rich and hateful. You just had to fake it so that we'll keep giving you money. The people need to realize these good people and ride or die with them. And say F you to these rich people who don't give a shit about you. Like these Democrat billionaires who got their mouths shut right now. Why are we buying their products if they ain't fighting for those who are putting money in their pocket? Why? That's the way I feel about it. And that's what I do with my life. I ain't putting nothing in their pocket if I don't have to. I ain't buying nothing from them if I don't have to. I buy my necessities. And after that, I ain't getting nothing extra, no luxury, no nothing. I don't want shit from them until they got something in their heart that gives a fuck about the people and not just about their bank account. We need good people doing shit in this country, not these evil people just seeking for money and give two shits about human beings. Half these people don't care about their own family members. You think they care about you? When's the last time you seen Donald Trump hug his boy? When is that? He got his hands all over his daughter. But when's the last time you seen him hug his sons? These people have no hearts. They're evil. They care about money and money only. And Americans need to recognize that and get up off of these people and start focusing on those who really care about you. So when you hear people giving you the truth, you know they care about you. You hear people who don't want to lie to you, you know they care about you. You hear people that want you to go down the right path, you know they care about you. You hear those people who lie consistently, those people you need to get out your life. Because they have nothing that will benefit you unless you step over to the dark side and all you care about is money. Then that's the only time. Look at it. Every time you hear anybody, let's say a person who's black, that's a conservative, whenever they talk, all they talk about is money. They don't talk about love. They don't talk about compassion. They don't talk about anything that has to deal with your heart. They talk about only numbers. They talk about only products and services. They talk about owning shit. They don't talk about loving and caring about nothing. You don't hear them talking about, I love my daughter. I love my son. I want to go play basketball with my son or daughter. You don't hear none of that shit from these people. All you hear from them, money, 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 money. How can I make more money? When they come in, when they went to those barbershops, Byron Donalds and all these other people, when they went to the barbershops, all they talked about is how black people can make more money being a Republican, because that's all they care about. They're callous. They don't care about anything else. They will sell their soul for a stack of hundreds. And ask yourself, do you want to be a rich soulless person or rich in spirit, and money will come because other rich spirited people want to work with you, want to grow with you? One thing I want to prove in my lifetime is that you could become wealthy beyond your wildest dreams by caring for people, by serving people, by loving on people, and they keep coming back because you treated them like they wanted to be treated. Therefore, they bought that product from you. Therefore, they came to your restaurant and ate, because it's how they feel when they come in there, and they have no problems giving you your money that you deserve because they know you give a damn about them, not only when they're there buying, but when they leave. How's your sister doing? How's your cousin doing? Oh, she's doing great. All right, thanks. I'll see you later. Take care. We want that back. That Little House on the Prairie type feeling. I want that shit back. This greed shit, I don't want it. If it ain't attached to humans, I don't want to be buried with cash and shit like that. Who cares about that shit? That shit cannot sustain you forever, but that's what they care about. They live and breathe money. And they believe fucking over anybody, even their mama, is justified to get it. So it's up to us to change it. It's up to us to change it. If you want it changed, it's up to us to change it. I'm working on ways to do it. If you're working on ways to do it, share it with one another. In this space, we care about one another. In this space, whether I'm here or on TikTok, no matter where I'm at, we care about one another in my room. We care about the facts. You can get cussed out lying to me because I don't like it. I don't accept it at all. I don't give it to you. I want that same respect back. I give you guys facts because I care about you. You really got to love somebody to do the homework to make sure that they're not misled, or at least let them make sure that they go and seek that information, so that even if they come back and fix what you just said or add on to what you just said, then that means that person loved me enough to go check out the facts and brought something back to me to help me grow. It's a family of building people. Sharpening iron, sharpening iron. It's not just a always give and a always take. It's both. It's a two-way street here, and we're both trying to go to that promised land, to that America that used to be at least the dream of it, the soul part of it, American dream. You work hard, you can get shit. Life can be great for you. You can have a house, car, raise a family with one job, one business. I want pensions brought back. The hell we can't take care of people for? These people help you build the businesses, and you want to edge them out as much as possible. I want businesses to give people, ownership of the business. I see some of them do it. I'm like, wow, that's great. I remember seeing one guy, I forgot the name of the company off the top of my head. You might know it. But the owner was making millions or whatever. He'd say, you know what? Bug that. All of it, everybody in here making $75,000 a year. Even him as the owner. And his business grew and grew and grew. Because nobody felt left out. And even the guy who was rich was sitting there taking 75. And there are other ones where they gave ownership, set aside 10% or whatever of the business. Employees owned that 10%. So when they retired, they had some money. I want those types of businesses that care. Fuck all these other companies that don't. If you ain't got no plan like that, I don't have nothing to do with you. Because you don't care about people, you just care about your own bottom line. And it's the people that improve your bottom line. You can't do it by yourself. But yet you want to take the majority of the profits all to yourself. And make everybody else like disposable. Yeah, that ain't me. But these are the things that I think about often. If you want to support the show, I'll give you the information at the bottom. I wrote a speech. I'm a professional speaker. People may not know it, but I used to go to colleges and speak all the time. I'm an inspirational speaker, but I wrote a speech about this NAFTA stuff. I'm going to give y'all before I leave. Kind of a little bit what I said, but yeah, it ain't all about having any accolades or being excited about it, but I figured that if I can give it to you in a way that you might be able to remember it, maybe it'll stick to you, maybe not. It's a gamble. But I'm gonna read it here in a minute. But I just want you to know that whenever I come here, I am trying my best to give you the facts, nothing but. And if I give you my feelings about the facts, I get that, but I ain't gonna give you feelings about lies. I would never lie to you on purpose. If I said something that I got wrong or misspoke, believe me, it's based on the facts I found may be wrong. And that's why I ask you guys to always check me, because I want you to be in the know, and all of us in the know, not just, just me. When I look at you guys' comments and I read them, I learn from them as well. More so about who you are and your character and your kindness and love and all that in your room. As you talk to one another, love that. But at the same time, the stuff that you offer me, wisdom that's in your life, we all sharpen one another. And so when we listen to one another, we can learn and grow from one another, right? And I just want you to know how this country works and how we can make it a better place. Not accept it for what it is, make it better. There's some good things, actually there's some great things in this country, but then there's also some horrible things we need to work on. There's a huge portion of people in this country are greedy and will do anything to harm somebody to get it. And then there's a huge portion that care about people and love, being able to take care of their families and have enough money that they can retire from and all stuff like that. Just responsible wealth Then you get that greedy wealth. And I'm looking for the responsible wealth and being able to help people get to the next level. Even myself, whatever level I want to get to, I keep focusing on how can I be of service to people, and whatever I do, my God will give back to me tenfold. So it's about myself being of service first, and then I receive based off of how I serve. So when I think about it, I say, okay, whatever I have in life depends on how hard I'm serving. If I'm not where I wanted to be, I need to serve more. Things of that nature, be more of a persistent person in helping other people's lives, and then my life will increase, as opposed to trying to rob somebody, so my life will be increased. So anyway, so those are the things that I come up with. I'm gonna read some of you guys' comments before I do this last speech here and get out of here. And this is about NAFTA and how it went down. Pretty much what I just told you somewhat. How many more decades of pain when will the nightmare end? Vera. Yeah, it's a lot of one thing I had to come to grips with is that these people aren't going anywhere. Greed is not going anywhere. This is happening every decade and every century. Like I told you in NAFTA, before NAFTA, there was, during the Great Depression, their thing was greed that brought it down. Greed was people buying on margin, and basically getting loans that they couldn't afford, going, crazy with it. And then it was time to call those margins. People didn't have the money. The banks were not filled with cash, so they couldn't, pay off the debts and things of that nature, or give people what they deserved, and therefore banks went under. And guess what? That was the time in which they did not have the FDIC. They didn't have no federal agency to like guarantee 250 grand of yours. If you had $1 million in the bank at that time and the bank went under, you was just under $1 million. There was no way, no recourse to get your money back. So greed has always been with us. It's not going anywhere. But it's about the people, a core group of people, deciding for themselves that they are going to celebrate those who aren't greedy and buy from them. That way you can have a balance, at least. You can have people who may become millionaires or billionaires that care about the people, and they're more focused on the people than they are on the profit. They're more focused at giving back and realizing they can't take it with them than they are focused on, let me hoard whatever I can and fuck all the people. We have to be able to help those who have the type of mentality to help people buy their products, buy their services, because those people are guaranteed, at least as far as what we can deal with our metrics, are guaranteed to be focused on the people and not so much the profit. We got to find those type of people. They're probably in this room right now. And then we got to invest in those people so they can create industries and businesses that the owner is focused on you, the people, focused on you, whom we may become, investors in those same people. Because I look at it this way. We always have a hero complex as humans. We love whether it be Jesus or Superman or Spider-Man. We love that people who come to say, here I come to save the day. There's real people out there that are like that really want to save the day. It's hard to believe, but they are. And they're focused on helping people. And we don't give them the time of day. We're always chasing those people who will stab you in the back for a Big Mac because they cool, or because they got, a yacht, or because, they got all the girls, or they got all the guys, or whatever the hell. And we just put so much value on trash. And then humans, very little value on those who are doing good by people. And those good people are the people that we are missing out on. Those good people willing to do something. And I know people say, well, people will turn, money will change people. Yeah, and it will for many. But the thing is that you're not powerless in that situation. I pitched this to people many a times. I'm like, So what happens if somebody becomes greedy that you don't help become rich and don't care about it? Then you let people know. And those same people who are looking for good people will stop buying from those people. We got to regulate ourselves because our government will do whatever it can to make profit. It's not supposed to be a profit running business, but you notice how Americans, for some reason, want a business person in the government as if the government is supposed to be run like a business. It's not. We give the government money so that it helps our people who are less fortunate. And when we need something, they can help us too, depending on what we got going. Want to buy a house, we should be able to get a guaranteed loan of some sort. Want to do these certain things that, things that may happen like a pandemic, we got some money that can be able to help the people be able to survive the pandemic. That's what our government's supposed to be for. If it's about profit, our country can go broke. Get our country on the actual like stock market. The country's running the stock market. Government, okay, we're gonna put money. You put it as you make it an actual private thing instead of a government thing, instead of a public thing. Our like Donald Trump ran casinos into the ground. If it became a private, our government becomes a business. Can you imagine the person running the country could actually break us by taking our money and gambling it on something? Anything that they think is a sure bet, and then we're broke? I mean, you don't want that shit. There's rules and regulations for a reason. We're not a business for a reason. So why would people want to become a business? Because greedy people sucker regular people into believing businesses work better than governments, and they do not. Businesses are for profit. Government is for the people. You blend the two, you end up taking people's money for profit, and therefore people will go broke. They won't have a government that's there for them. They won't have a healthcare system because they don't gamble it away. All right. Let me read what you guys have been saying. I think CEO's name was Dan Price. Oh, the one I mentioned on paying his employees $70,000. Thank you, Roger. You have a different person. I'll look it up because I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember he paid himself $75,000. There's a couple businesses that did something that's similar, which I was like, that's perfect. I mean, this dude, he was rich. He had stock, of course, that had him making millions, but his everyday salary was 75 grand or something like that. And it's like, and there's other ones I said that they put aside certain money and had stock where their employees owned a piece of it, which made their employees like loyal as hell. They came to work and put in 1,000% because now I own some of this. You know what I mean? They're really like dedicated to it. We need more of that so that people can have living wage jobs. But if we have billionaires that are always looking for profit over profit, then guess what? You become a commodity. They look at you and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm spending $75,000 on this person. We got 14-year-olds working now, right? Okay. We passed that, right, Republicans? Yup. Mm-hmm. Bring the 14-year-old, we're going to pay him in sandwiches. And like, what? Yeah. He likes Subway. Let's just bring him here. Give him like a Subway, like, refrigerator. Have a person over there cooking Subway. He can eat all day, work all day. As little as they can possibly give, these hateful people will do. We need to replace them with people who give a fuck. And there are many organizations out there right now that are considered like, 401, as I said, 501c3s and C4s that are out there doing, nonprofit work. But there are many businesses out there too that are doing the same things and making profit and doing right by the people with their profit. We just don't know who they are most of the time. Some of them are gimmicks, some of them are real. But if we had a resource like that to find out who's doing that, doing what we believe in, we buy from them and we help them grow, we donate to them until they can become a business, or whatever it may be. If they got that kind of drive, then we can invest in them later once they grow. We need to start building people who care about people. And there's so many of them in all of our communities, Black, white, Latin, Asian, so many. We need to get them before they get into this world of greed and get them into this world. Like the people who are helping you get somewhere, those are the people you need to care about. So if the people are giving you 1,000 and 600 and whatever, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars going into your pocket to grow your company, then you don't need those billionaires who don't care about you. You just need the people, and you sell to the people, and they help you grow. People oriented. So therefore, we don't have these billionaires deciding our fate. I mean, it's just a thought, but to me, it's more like that's the way I want this country to be. Caring about people, not hating on people, not ruling over people, educating and caring about people, because we're only here for a minute. Life is short. Why these guys playing these games for hundreds of years when they know we're around? Because they want their families to always be ahead of everybody else. Always. And most of us don't care. So what? They can be ahead of everybody else. That don't mean they got to fuck with our lives. But no, we want them to fuck with your lives too. And at some point, we got to divorce these billionaires and start focusing on and building new ones that care about people. I guarantee you there's many of them out there that want to get rid of these greedy, blood-sucking, thievery-ass billionaires and put people in who care. That's the way I believe. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's what I'm fighting for until I can prove it to be right. I believe it's right. All right. Yeah, he's just mentioning the FDIC. Again, if they mess you over, Monica, you have no recourse. If they, like I said back in the day, when what they did was the banks would give all these loans for people to be able to buy all this margin because they thought the economy was just going to keep growing and growing and growing like it was because of the industry. But then the industry started to fall down and crash, right? And they did it with the internet boom, crashed, and then we had the housing boom. If you look at it, at least the housing boom and the depression, you'll realize they were the same thing. It's just that back then, it was about investing in, the industries of that era. But it also was also housing as well back then, buildings, skyscrapers and different things of that nature. They gave people loans that couldn't afford to build them. They didn't have the money, but they gave them these loans and all these different, the government would give them subsidies and all that. And when time came for them to pay, they didn't have it. And so the same thing in the housing boom here, there were people getting homes they couldn't afford. See, these millionaires and billionaires was making money getting these people into homes. Because now they're in a home giving me $3,000 a month, whatever it may be a month. And then I know they ain't gonna be able to afford it for long. So then they're gonna go broke and then I'm gonna put somebody else in it. They're gonna go broke, then I'm gonna put somebody else in it. They was flipping people instead of flipping houses. And then it all came to a crash. They couldn't, pay these loans that they owed. People were losing their homes out on the street. And then we had to bail them out. And every time these Republicans, it appears, not every time this has happened, but majority of the time it has. I know for sure in the Great Depression, and even with the one that happened under George Bush, Republican, and then we're going to go through the same thing with Trump. It almost just seems like we're always, when we deal with Republicans and Democrats, it's good versus evil. They both have it in them. But the point is, when it comes to this country, the real patriots have been the Democrats. They're the ones who really try to save the country. The Republicans are always trying to destroy it. They come in, destroy it, Democrat comes in and builds it. They come in, destroy it, Democrat comes in and builds it. Go back and look in history. I had to look this shit up. I was like, is this serious? I read a quote or something like that said something like Democrats build the country, Republicans destroy it. And I was like, I don't know about that. Let me go look back in history, see what that happens. It has happened. Reagan, same situation. Happened with Bush. It happened with Bush Jr. It's just sad. It really is that we haven't recognized that and say, you know what? If the Republicans don't change, we need to put Democrats in for the next, 10, 20 years or something like that so we can get this country out of debt. Because what what Republicans always come up with always puts us in more debt. They have these aspirational ideas that never have a really thought out plan to them. They run to the same things. You would think that they would realize that trickle down does not work. And the only way it could work is they threw regulations on it and made these people do with the money they said they're going to do with it. If you threw the regulations on, it could possibly work. But they don't throw the regulations on. They always want regulations to go away. That's how the Great Depression happened. They had no regulations, and these people had a free fall of just evil shit they did to people. Robbing people left and right. Pumping and dumping stocks. Acting like something was something when it wasn't. Making fake businesses so that people can invest in them, and they call them. Back then they had phone and newspaper. So you had no idea that this was a sham. It wasn't like you can come to the business. They just call you up, make a deal over the phone, lie to you, take your money, close the business down. Your savings was gone. No rules or regulations for that. You just got suckered. That's what they always want to go back to. And it seems like Americans, not all of us, but many of us have not learned our lesson. And we listen to these fools talk about, we need less regulations. No, we absolutely need more. When they decide to do things to destroy our lives, regular citizens, we need to say, there needs to be a rule for that. And it needs to fucking stay. Because if it isn't, it gives them leeway to mess us over so they can become richer. We got to get rid of that. We got to learn from it, grow from it, and never do it again. There ain't enough phrases in the world that people should be able to give to you American citizens that would make you or force you or entice you to fuck your own life up. Dig deeper. Don't trust any of them. Dig deeper to anything they say. Quit running with the chant. Quit running with the 3 words or 3 labels. Drill, baby, drill. Quit running with those 3-word things. Those are strategies to get you to believe in that term and not what it actually means. Dig deeper and make your decisions so that your life is better, not worse. That's the way I see it. And I'm going to go ahead and get this, read this speech I wrote for y'all. I named it NAFTA, the lie that broke the backbone of America. I'm going to read it off of this right quick because I can remember it. I don't remember shit off the top of the dome. All right. I'm going to start it off. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you back to the early 90s, a time when America, the American worker, still stood tall. When steel mills roared, factory towns thrived, and a union paycheck could buy you dignity, a home, and a future. And then came a storm dressed in a suit, a trade deal wrapped in red, white, and blue. It was called NAFTA. They said it would make us stronger. They said it would make us richer. They said it would make us more competitive. But what they didn't say was that they were lying. NAFTA wasn't a path to prosperity. It was a pipeline siphoning jobs from Detroit, Gary, Flint, Youngstown, straight into the pockets of billionaires who had never lifted a wrench in their lives. They told us we'll export products, not jobs. But they exported our livelihoods. They exported our power. And they kept the profits. They told us new jobs will replace the old ones. But the jobs that came back wore paper hats instead of hard hats. No pensions, no benefits, no future. Just survival and shame. Understand this. The rich knew exactly what would happen. They weren't making a mistake. They were making a move. This wasn't miscalculation. It was a heist. They used pretty slogans to hide the fact that they were taking everything. And while your factories closed, their stock portfolios soared. You see, NAFTA wasn't about free trade. It was about free reign for the powerful to do whatever the hell they wanted without consequences. And then they blamed the people running from the fallout. They destroyed Mexican farms but subsidized American corn, pushed families into poverty, then acted shocked when desperate people came north to survive. They're stealing our jobs, they said, and continue to say. No, billionaires, you gave them away. You traded them for higher profit margins and a private jet. Then you turned the people you hurt into scapegoats, brown faces, immigrant hands, while the real thieves sat in the corner offices and gave speeches about freedom. Let's call a spade a spade. Tell it like it is. NAFTA was economic warfare waged against Americans, the middle class, while smiling politicians as the foot soldiers and billionaires pulling the trigger. So the next time someone tells you these problems are too complex to solve, that we have to accept the loss of jobs, that it's going to be a little pain, the rise of poverty, the flood of despair, ask them who made this decision. Because it wasn't you, it wasn't me. It wasn't the unions, it wasn't the towns that died back then. And by them doing the same things, towns are going to die again. Learn from your history, or it shall repeat. It was the men who made millions from your misery and had the audacity to call it progress. They sold you slogans. I'm just here to return them with interest. I didn't lie. You didn't lie. They did. But you and I felt every word of it. We received the pain from their lies. We bought it as truth. Now it's up to you to see through the bullshit. Are you going to fall for it again, or are you going to stand up this time and the American people win and not the billionaires? I'm done. That was the end of it. I wrote that for y'all. So I wanted you guys to understand the truth, the understanding of what we went through, what we're going to go through again if we don't stop it. What the fuck is a trickle? I see that. So I appreciate y'all as always. I do this every day, Monday through Friday. I'm gonna do my mental health day is today on TikTok. So we do that after this. So if you want to go and check that out, we meditate at the beginning, meditate at the end, and in between we watch a documentary. I think we're on, I can't say, I guess on TikTok, I don't want to say it, but we're going to go ahead and watch that tonight too. Part 3, I think we're watching. And I appreciate y'all always coming back, learning more, educating me. I read the comments after I leave for the most part, sometimes during the show. I appreciate you guys joining. You can become, a member through supporting me. You could also donate if you want to do that. I love the fact that people in the room today who supported me. Let me actually give you love real quick and say it out loud. DJ, thank you so much. I appreciate you for your donation today. Appreciate it. For all my members, so I appreciate you as well. Thank you for being here. And you guys have a good day. Hopefully you learned something here. If you can go back and watch it and be able to share something with somebody, tell people about what we're doing, trying to, at least educate our people, I mean, the American people, about what's going on. Open your mind, open your hearts, and don't allow yourself to get put in situations that your parents or grandparents got put in because they didn't have access to this knowledge. It was easier to do it to people back then because in 94 and back in 1920 you had to get a phone call to be told this. Somebody on the inside had to tell you. If it was in the paper or some magazine, that stuff came out days after it already happened. So now we can be able to get information within a fraction of a second. We can be able to learn about this and get it to the American people a lot faster than it used to be. So there's no reason for us to fall through this crack once again when information can be shared within seconds. Okay? You're very welcome. Oh, Elon, yeah, Ionia. You guys, much love to y'all. I'm going to see some of y'all here a little bit on TikTok. But for the rest of you, I'd like to say you guys have a great night, great evening. And I'll see here. I'll see you when I see you.